So just to kind of kick off, man, how was your experience kind of working with me in the, in the coaching program specifically for marketing?
And overall, we really enjoyed it. When I say we, there was two other members, which I call my marketing team, Kyle and Haley, and we enjoyed it a lot. I mean, number one, you're just a great guy, and it's always good to work with good people. Number two, it really helped us kind of get our hands around like what we even should be doing for marketing and like as we go towards the future.
Yeah.
So very great perspective and just really good content that helped us really get our bearing on where we needed to go.
So let's talk about your marketing. What were you guys doing before to kind of get all your customers?
Yeah, not much. Historically, we've never had to do marketing because we are a second generational business. My father, who started the company 47 years ago, I think, just reputation and quality work. So we have repeat customers, which is rare in construction, right? Maybe, but we've built stuff for people, 7, 10 years later. We have word of mouth referrals, and then just organic people coming to us. Intentional neighborhoods where we are kind of developer as well, so we kind of build what we develop. But we haven't really done much for official marketing
And up until
now.
this point, like you've been okay with that, right? So you've had enough clients to kind of put food on the table and everything. What was the thing that led you to want to kind of move forward with like a more advanced marketing strategy?
Well, yeah, to elaborate on before I guess, we had a website. That was it. And the
Sure.
website's average, it's not a very
Yeah.
great website. And I never made the website better because we didn't need any more work. So
Yeah.
that's really, it's like we have plenty of work. I don't want to overwhelm ourselves with work. So I don't want to like spend a lot of time or effort or money on improving the website or paying for marketing or, enhancing our presence online in any way. I think to answer your question, what kind of changed that is just a general sense and a feel, a shift, the last 12, 13 years has honestly been just constant growth for the building industry. And I just feel a shift coming.
Mm.
And additionally, in Florida, where we're located, we have a lot of people and a lot of money that's moving in from out of state. And local reputation doesn't mean anything to them. They're going to be searching online and they need to see a presence. They need to see who we are. So just the importance of communicating to the world who we are has in my mind, it's coming. It's coming fast. And if we don't start doing it, we're going to get left behind.
Yeah. I think that message is really important. And I think a lot of other builders are still riding on that 10-year wave of just like not having to do anything. And they're probably
Right.
not looking to, what's coming, maybe enough. And maybe they're starting to feel it a little bit. But they're just kind of, I think they're going to be shocked when all of a sudden, that word of mouth is no longer there. So what I'm seeing is a lot of guys like yourself that are like trying to go on the offense with their marketing. They're like starting to eat up some of the market share because it's starting to shift already. So if you're starting to take advantage of things like social and paid reach and all that kind of stuff, you're starting to reach a lot of the people that before was all like the word of mouth customers, and you're starting to kind of pull them over to your side. In fact, I've talked with a few different builders around the country that are like, yeah, we're starting to kind of take over because nobody else is kind of seeing what's coming, and we're trying
Right.
to embrace everything and saying like, hey, there's like a new way to market to people. It's not, Angie's List and Home Advisor and all of that stuff anymore. Like we need to go like on the offense a little bit more and not just rely on word of mouth. And because of that, like they're starting to like things are continuing to grow for them, which is really cool.
Yeah.
So yeah, specifically, so you had a basic website, and I think you even had an Instagram, but it was a photo of like I think just you and your brothers, maybe like in a Halloween costume. So it wasn't anything crazy. So specifically, we kind of came in and we looked at the first week was like, hey, let's just look at all of your marketing. Like, how's your website look on a really technical aspects, like for SEO, and then we looked at are you doing anything for social? How's your SEO presence? Like, how's your local pack look and Google? And we kind of went through, I don't know how many points. I think there was like a 45 point thing and it took several meetings to kind of go through that. If you can recall, so it was several weeks ago, what do you feel like were some of the big takeaways you had from that first week?
Really, it's just communicating a consistent message across all mediums
Mm.
and making sure that, all of the little nuances on these, Facebook, Google, Instagram, that it's sending the same language is being used and communicated where it's not like confusing. Like what kind of builder are we? And that was a big takeaway, as well as really just tuning up our presence and our reviews on Google. That was a big one as well.
Yeah. Yeah, the reviews kind of play into that whole word of mouth piece too, where it's like you've got such a strong network of people that have used you before, that love you, that are big fans of your company, but not capturing those reviews, obviously, in Google or even on your Facebook page. It doesn't translate. So people, like, you might have the biggest fans. People might be like, Goldsmith Construction's amazing, but if no one leaves a review, the future clients are going to see that. So there's no way for people to know that. So yeah, that's always like a big point that I like to kind of hit home. And then on top of that, building processes and systems in order to kind of facilitate those reviews too. And like what needs to be in those reviews. There's so much, to kind of unpack there. But I think that was an area of like kind of low hanging fruit to kind of, you guys already had such a great reputation. So just kind of getting that, online was a really, really big benefit. So second week was we focus on your social. So not auditing your social, but going forward, what can we do to kind of take advantage of the opportunity out there, to get all the eyes on your brand, and to kind of start building up your brand on social. So we created a strategy. We kind of looked at everything, created like a posting strategy. And I think you even identified, like, I don't know if we can jump to like what you're recommending right off the bat. Maybe there's like different tiers that we need to kind of roll out. And what's interesting is you have like a pretty large team of people to help run with this. Some builders that I'm talking to like have, one guy, like it's just a single owner. And he's an owner operator trying to like, he's got the marketing hat, he's got the accounting hat, he's got the construction hat, he's got the hard hat. So he's doing all these things. So he's like, so maybe, he doesn't have the team that you do, but he still should be putting out content. So it's interesting to hear, like, you've got a pretty large team, but even you kind of had to like slowly kind of scale into it a little bit. How do you feel like that's going so far? So we kind of set the schedule of like, hey, just post as much as you can. Like that's kind of like the overall thing is like, there's so much opportunity. The more you post, the more you can take. And you're like, okay, let's create some systems. And I think this kind of speaks to how you do things. Like, let's do it slow, methodical, make sure it's done the right way. So when it scales, it's healthy. But just kind of speak to like how that's going so far.
Yeah, I think I really I loved how you presented kind of like the optimal model of like, this is the goal of what you need to be doing, and but you also had essentially the common sense and the grace to say, hey, like, this is the goal, but if you can just do less, but do something. And your encouragement to us that I think was very useful was, hey, you know what, just get started. And you were pretty confident that it wasn't going to feel as overwhelming as it felt in the beginning. Like, it feels like a daunting task, but it doesn't have to be. And so, like, the more we do it, the more we just post something. It's like, oh, that actually wasn't that hard. It wasn't that big of a deal. So it encourages us to kind of grow into your optimal plan that you're giving us, which is really nice. So I did feel like you were definitely more of like an encourager and a coach, as opposed to, like a teacher giving us homework and then you're going to fail us if we don't do our job. Yeah. So that was it was a good, I think that's why I really enjoyed the relationship as well.
Yeah, that's cool. Yeah, that's helpful to hear. Yeah, and I think every time you guys put something out too, I feel like a proud parent. I'm like, yeah, they're doing it. They're crushing it. I always like, I literally like it. I like it. And then I feel I love it, in person. So yeah, you guys are doing really well with that. So week 3 was all about paid reach, Facebook, Instagram ads, trying to get, more eyeballs on your brand just by kind of exchanging money. So what I really like about this is you can hand Facebook, $1, and then if you can get the system right, you can get $3 back, right? So obviously with custom homes, it's a much longer sales cycle. So we're going to see that kind of over time. But yeah, I think we launched our first ad, and I think within the first week, you guys had a lot of different, conversations that were started with people, right?
Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah. A lot of conversations, a lot of touch points, probably more than I expected as far as just activity and what was coming our way. And just like you told us, you're basically building a funnel and you're kind of, sifting through that to find your target client. And so out of that, we've gotten a couple of really good leads that we're working on. And like you said, the sales cycle is pretty long with home building. And so, we can afford to spend a fair amount of money on paid reach, because it literally only takes one, to more than pay for that, for honestly, for a year's worth of marketing, depending on how much we choose to spend. So I've been very pleased with the amount of leads that we've been getting. And so now, like you have encouraged us to, now we're really focusing on tightening our funnel up and, letting Facebook target our market, but also us targeting our market with the type of content that we put out.
Yeah. Yeah, I love that. Yeah, and I think that you guys are doing a really good job with that. And it probably helps having that team of people too that can be hyper focused on that. I think that's been a really cool thing to do too.
Yeah, but just to hit on that, my team is they're not just a marketing team. I mean, they actually do permitting and other admin work around my office. So I'm calling them my team, but it's not their full-time job. So
Yeah.
anybody else, any other contractors out there, like a custom home builder is not a huge big business. Otherwise, you're not a custom home builder. And if you don't have a lot of people, I don't, even though I have 2 people assigned to it, it's not their full-time job.
Yeah, that's interesting. Yeah, so within your team, people have kind of multiple hats that they're wearing. It sounds like in order to maybe save on cost and still offer a good product and everything. Yeah, that's smart. Well, cool. So last thing, where do you? So let's kind of fast forward like a year out. How do you feel like this marketing is going to like affect your business if you're looking out a year, maybe even 5 years, just projections?
I mean, I really just think it's enhancing our front-facing identity. It also is super helpful to, it causes you to think even deeper about who you are, it causes you to think even deeper about how you want other people to see you, how you want, the general public or potential customers to view you. And so I think a year out, I see us successful in doing that in the time period that we've done it. All of the engagement that we've been getting and the comments and the interactions, it's pretty good. People are they're getting it, and we're honing in on communicating that to the world so that, I think it's like you get the ball rolling, and then it's going to be easier just to keep pushing it along, and it's not like we're going to have to just grind it out to, to be successful. So
yeah, I love that. Just to kind of wrap up here, if there's another builder listening to this and they're kind of on the fence of like, hey, should I lean on marketing? Should I spend the money on doing it? Should I do it in-house? Should I hire another company to do it? Like, if they had like all these kind of questions, like what would you if you were sitting down with them, what would you recommend?
Sure. Well, I mean, in general, I like to think that I'm kind of like an average guy in terms of my opinions and my, perspectives, as well as probably an average custom home builder. And I've always just been hesitant to pay some marketing company to run my Facebook and Instagram account. I mean, they don't know me, and I don't really trust them. So what I was looking for is really exactly what you're offering, and that's for someone to come alongside of me and just show me the framework, like show me what I should be doing. And I want to kind of do that myself, because when I do it, even if I don't do it as frequent, it's going to be more authentic than just having some company that I'm paying $1,000 a month or $2,000 a month or whatever to run my marketing and run my campaigns. So just, being able to have the tools to do it myself, and it also realize it's not overwhelming if it's done right. And I think your system really provides that. So I would highly recommend it to really any other custom home builder out there who's feeling what I'm feeling and wanting to make a shift in their strategy, in their marketing strategy going forward. I think it's going to be huge for our company.
Yeah, man, I think that's so important. I've heard that story so many times where people have like tried to hire an outside company to kind of tell their story, and it doesn't work really well with ads, and for sure doesn't work with like organic, just like posting all the time, because they're just not integrated into like who you are, into your personality, into your day to day. So unless they were going to offer like someone to just like live with your company and just like kind of always be a part of it, like I just don't think that model like works out very well anymore. So I think that's why it's going to be really successful to say like, hey, let's find somebody, either you or someone on your team, and just like really teach them and empower them to like learn what it takes to successfully put things out there and kind of show your brand, your personality on a new level on social. So yeah, Ben, that was a very intentional step, because I think a lot of people are doing that in the wrong way. So, well, cool. Yeah. Taylor, appreciate your time today, man. And look forward to seeing your company grow.
My pleasure. Thank you, David.
Yeah.